Hello everybody and welcome back to Tlatoani, where last episode we played this scenario. I mean, it was more than just last episode, but this is kind of the, intro tutorial. Now I think we're gonna get, a tutorial on the military aspect of this game, which should be pretty interesting. Let's see what we've got here, and this voice acting that we're about to get is very, very quiet. I apologize. I don't actually know. Actually, let's go into here. Let's try turning up the sound volume. Surely this is part of the sound and not part of the music. I wish there was a separate voice slider, but alas, there is not. Okay, let's see what we get here.
7th day of the month of dryness.
Much better.
In the year of 12th rabbit. It is looking to be a difficult year. Tzompanco has been under sporadic siege by the Tepanecs and the armies of Cuautitlan for nearly a year now. Our fighters have shed blood together often enough to earn the respect of the Tlatoani, and it was only last spring that our young prince Toscuecuexli was wed to Tlaquilxochitzin, the princess of Tzompanco. It seemed that we had a budding alliance, but between the granaries burned by the raiders and a run of scanty harvests, the city now has too many mouths to feed, and our gracious hosts have begun to tire of our presence. To relieve these pressures, Chief Iztacmixcoatl has taken counsel with the other nobles and agreed to relocate as many Mexicas are able and willing to settle the northern shores of Lake Xaltocan. There, we will found and fortify a new settlement and take measures to stock our own larders. We have decided to call the new village Epcoac after the oyster shells that our scouts found by the shore. The site is fertile, but potentially at risk of Chichimec incursions, and in addition to fortifying the site, we will be expected to yield our usual tribute of grain and goods to Chiconcuao, the Tlatoani of Xaltocan. It is likely our settlement is being used as a buffer against the risk of invasion, while their nobles enjoy the relative safety of an island stronghold, but I suppose we're not in a position to be picky. In any case, General Tecpatzin will be arriving with the prince and a delegation of settlers within the next few days. It is late now. I will take the next watch while we await the general's coming.
That was pretty lengthy, but that is definitely a lot better in terms of the volume of the voice acting, so that's good. When starting a settlement from scratch, securing a strong supply of building materials is vital. Yeah, that makes sense. You already have a mason yard near your trading post, but you should also place at least 3 sawyers and 2 clay pits close enough to deliver here as well. Note that you can raise both trees and outcrops of rock to quickly supplement your stocks of timber and stone at the cost of long-term yields. If trees are on higher ground, you can build roads across cliffs to reach them. Interesting. Okay, so that's good to know. So we have a sawyer here, and this is the forest up here. Noted. So if we were to put a road, hypothetically, from here to here. Ah, I see. So that creates a little ramp there. Neat. So then we can do something like that to get us access to this 3rd tier up here. Okay, so there's a lot of trees around, and I'm wondering if these are... I'm wondering how finite that material is. We can destroy them to quickly get it at the cost of long-term, huh? Interesting. Well, we currently have a mason yard here, but we need 3 sawyers near forest and 2 clay pits near water. So we have a clay pit down here already. So this would be industry and materials. Okay, so we've last mission, we kind of had all of our materials supplied by our host city. This is a somewhat different situation. So a clay pit down over here. Now, okay, so this counted as one of our two clay pits. Good to know. So we would need some sawyers then up over here. So one here is viable. And then we would need an additional one. And we could put that here, or we could put it here. I mean, I think that's fine. So we have, this is actually timed. We have 10 years to do this. Interesting. Presumably because we need to harvest that tribute within 10 years. Okay. So did we build a road connecting over here? I don't think we did. So one thing I want to do is I actually want to take this road up over here. and connect it in like that. Okay, so that'll do for now. That was raining briefly. It stopped raining. Understood. Okay, so let's get all of that going. And the real question then is, some of your pending structures are impossible to reach. Yeah, that's because we haven't built this dirt ramp yet. There. Now it's possible to reach. The game will figure that out eventually, presumably. Okay, so we see this guy out over here. He appears to be chopping a tree. Excellent. And he's definitely cutting this down. Ah, this stand of trees has been felled and will need time to regrow. Okay, so if you destroy them, then you get the timber, but they don't regrow, I'm guessing. Is that the case for cliffs? I don't know. Or more specifically for stone. I guess we'll find out eventually. Oh, there's some deer down here. The deer have no movement animation. Okay, that's interesting. Hopefully that's a work in progress, and they're not intending for it to be like that long term. Okay, so city mood is average and few people wish to come here. Yeah, we have very few markets relative to our population. So that's probably something that we should deal with. So that's a fortress, that's a trading post, those are things there. So we would need to have a small market somewhere. And here looks like as good a location as any. So we'll get that queued up. Poor nutrition is becoming a problem. Okay. That's understood for now. So our sawyers are now complete. And we could probably use some housing. That would probably be useful, right? Okay, let's see what we've got here. To grow your own food, you'll need to place farmers' huts near your markets and granaries, ideally on fertile land. So this over here would probably be low fertility, but this up here would be high fertility, would be my guess. And that went away. Okay, well, I guess that's a lesson learned. So we know we need to build a granary, and somewhere out over here, I suppose, which means that this territory down here is probably where we should think about building some housing. So that would mean coming up something like this and putting housing here. Houses are 2 by 2, so we can have a road that comes like this and have 2 rows of houses over this direction. So something along those lines. And we'll need some other things as well, for sure. Okay, so these are maize fields and fruit trees, yep, and chili beds. Okay, cool. Canals, irrigation. Okay. Noted. Our granary should be set to get or balance maize. And it should have space for at least 80 maize. Okay, well, we'll see what happens with that. But we also need to get some houses going here, right? Farmers' huts, though, that allows us to settle and farm the surrounding area. Whereas these are urban buildings. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to build 4 urban houses for now. And we've got space for more over here. So we'll see what happens with that. And then as far as a farmer's hut goes, I kind of want to build one up over this direction a bit. So let's get a road out this way, out to about here or so. And then we can put a farmer's hut about here. And we'll see what ends up happening with that. This may end up being a good or a bad place to have them be. We'll find out. So we definitely need more workers to work in a lot of these locations. Poor nutrition is becoming a problem, yes. We're working on it. Yes, crowding in homes is becoming an issue. We have no homes. We'll get there. Okay, so that patch of land is especially fertile. So one thing I'm wondering is if we go into our crops here, how big are these fields? Okay, that's noted. And we can see that this farmhouse is at 1 out of 32. Yeah. Okay. So our granary is built at this point, and we accept up to 80 maize. Or we should get maize. Yes. We should place at least 6 common homes. So they want us to place 2 additional common homes. That's fine. 1 here and 1 here. And then at least 6 farmers' huts. Okay. So we can put a farmer's hut out over this direction. This might be somewhat low in the fertility here. Maybe not. Okay, so each of these can have like 32 fields. Or 32 crops, right? So if we were to have... I'm just thinking here. If we were to have like 16 maize fields and then 8 fruit trees and 8 chili beds... That's 20 out of 32. Okay, so it would be something like this. Okay, and then for fruit trees, this would simply be something like this. No, this. But I actually don't like that. Have it be something like that. And then as far as the chili beds go, have them be over here. Bring that up to 32 out of 32. Okay, so that's the amount of space that would require. Now, I don't think this actually needs to be irrigated over here. We'll find out. At least 6 farmers' huts. Okay. So that's noted. I'm just thinking right now about how we want to space these, right? So let's put some more road up over here. Farmers' huts are going to go here and here. And then this can become another field, and this can be a field, and this can be a field. That would be enough fields, but we would require additional farmers' huts at that point. So let's go in here, and let's put in another maize field here. So this would be up to 16. There we go. And then for the fruit trees, we would do something like this. Hang on, I did this wrong. Okay. For the fruit trees, we would want that over here. And then for the chili beds, that would be over here. I think we missed a fruit tree here. That's a dirt road. Okay. That's interesting. Let's see about getting rid of that. Okay, so that's going to take a little bit of time to get this underway. We're short of common workers, but hopefully that'll change here pretty soon. So we're going to build more farmland. That's absolutely the case. I don't actually know. Okay, yeah, this structure is awaiting removal. So we're going to want to put in another fruit tree over here. And that's absolutely fine. So we're slowly making some progress over here. And yeah, the growth on these is actually not too bad. This one's up to 27%. So that's looking relatively fine. That'll be ready to be reharvested eventually. So these clay pits, do they have infinite clay? Maybe. I don't know. That'll be interesting to find out. So we finished this up over here. I'm wondering, yeah, this is grass now. So what I want to do is I want to put that fruit tree there. There we go. And then for the maize fields over here, this will be like this. And then we're going to put fruit trees here, although there are dirt roads here. Okay, I want to mark raise. There we go. Cool. So we'll get that dealt with eventually. We'll get this one... hang on. I actually don't want to do this either. There we go. Those are now awaiting removal. Perfect. So what I'm thinking here is that this is going to be a little bit of a different layout. So this would be fruit trees are going to go like here. Like this. And then the chili beds would go here. right? And we would need to wait for removal of this, so that's absolutely fine. Now, the next question is, do we need to irrigate this? Or is this irrigated enough? I don't know. We can see that this maize is definitely growing quite quickly, so that's good. Okay, so these are fruit trees down over here. The fields are being dug. Yep, this looks absolutely fine for now. We still need to remove these dirt roads here, and looks like those are being removed now, so that's perfect. This needs to be chili beds here, like that. Okay, now out over here, we're going to do basically the same thing, right? Where this is going to be 16 here. There we go. And then fruit trees are going to be like this, and then chili beds are going to be like this. Okay. So that'll be fine for our crops for now, but the main question is, are we going to need any irrigation here? So, irrigated, no, plus 0% growth. Okay, but it is raining right now. Interesting. So the irrigation would just increase the growth speed. It won't actually make it, like, impossible to grow if it's not irrigated. Good to know. So we can think about how we might want to do an irrigation system here. Irrigation is within 3, right? So 1, 2, 3. So an irrigation that goes around here wouldn't necessarily do the trick. But if we had one more space here, that'd be pretty close. I think it might miss some of it in the center, but that would be reasonably fine. So we're still waiting on this farmer's hut here. That'll get there eventually. Excellent. It looks like this is all good to go. We do, however, need access to some of these services, some of these urban services, right? We haven't built any of these. So to that end, we should probably build a sweeper, and this is a good spot. This is actually a good spot to build all of these little guys. We would build a sentry post right up over here, and then a well dipper could go perhaps here, like that. And then we've got, what is this herbalist? Oh, okay. The staff at this structure require a scenic neighborhood. Okay, noted. So for the moment, we're not too concerned about that. Now, can we get any religion going? We'd require a scenic neighborhood, which we don't. Actually, up here would have good symmetry. We're looking for strong symmetry. But I guess good symmetry might be good enough. So we can get that put in. And then as far as this one goes, that would require a scenic neighborhood. Okay. So for now, that looks relatively fine. We do need to get this last farmer's hut done. And as far as this goes, we should probably swap over to, let's see here, this is fruit and chili. Something like this. Yeah, something like this, perhaps. Our food reserves are low and declining. Yes, we're working on it. We need to get this first harvest. City mood is good, and people wish to come to our city. Excellent. Yeah, I'm working on all of this. So I think we're going to need a little bit more farmland here. Enough farmland for our settlement plus 500 population. 920 out of 1020. Plots, 96. So our current number of plots is, yeah, this is because we don't have the farmhouses, right? So here's what I'm thinking right now. They must be connected to a body of open water. So that would be like, I don't suppose we can canal over this. No, that would be very strange. We could canal from like up here down to here. Or even better, here. Like that. And then this canal would go something like this. All the way around here. Now, this isn't going to reach all the way in here. And in retrospect, I probably should have done something about that. But that's fine for now. we'll just see what that feels like. And then I saw bridge in here somewhere. Yeah. So a wooden bridge would go here, which I think there's already one queued there. And then we would put in, well, we could just put in a road up this direction. Yeah, that automatically puts in a bridge. So that looks good for now. In retrospect, I would like to move these down, but I'm not going to do that right now. For the moment, what I want to do is I want to just let that go. I do, however, also want to put in 2 additional farmers' huts, one on each side of the river here, or each side of the road here. So something like that. That'll give us a little bit more. Oh, that person looked very underground for a moment there. Y sort issues again. Okay. Cool. Okay, so we're working on this. We can see this canal is empty right now, and presumably this is because it needs this connection up here, right? So this canal isn't going to function right now, but it'll do a bit of irrigation anyway. And yes, we are short of common workers right now. We will likely get there. We've got plenty of housing for now. Okay, so all of this construction is relatively underway at this time, and I do want to come in here and build some additional maize fields. So once again, I want to do 16 here. There we go. Your granary should have proximity and road access to both your market and all of your farmer huts. I think this is just because this isn't built yet. So that should be relatively fine. Okay, so that's 16 there. And then as far as fruit trees go, this is going to be something like this. And then maize fields. Now, we might run into some issues over here. Yes. Okay. We can do then that. And that. And then the canal would also come out over like this. Now, it can't go up into the cliff here, but for now, that looks reasonably fine. And then the road here would probably end up going like that. Okay. So that should be enough farmland for sure. And we'll be able to access that soon enough. But it's going to be a little bit before we get all of that built. So that is all looking good for now. Our food reserves are currently low. I mean, we do have some maize. So that's something. But it's going to take a fair amount of time before this is all ready to go, right? No doubt about that. So currently we can see we have 5 out of 2 elite workers and 41 out of 37 common workers. Okay, so that's not a particularly large issue. And as far as these canals go, they are very much under construction. It's going to take some time before this is all good to go. But we're at least going to have some amount of irrigation here. I'm noticing that they're not building from out here in, despite the fact that that's the order that I placed it in. I don't know exactly how they're choosing what to build when, but that's certainly interesting. Okay, well, we do have some amount of food production. Our food reserves are currently low, and that's absolutely understood. I would kind of like it if stone roads maybe a little bit increased their movement rate. Whoa, that's a lot of people on the way in. Okay, they're just charging about. I like it. So for now, that seems relatively good. Now, this is still under construction out over here. This home needs access to a sweeper. Yeah, we're working on it. These are being worked on slowly, but we have a lot of projects that are being worked on right now. It is about time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we're going to continue construction of our farmland and canals. And in retrospect, a canal straight through here would have been useful. I think, let's see here. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that would have worked. A canal straight through here would have irrigated this whole thing. So we're going to have a little bit of lacking canal here and here. That's okay for now. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Dark Horse, Ethan Feldman, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, The Lounge STL, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video. And as always, I will see you all next time.